May hapon sa tanan. So, I think we have a complete attendance this afternoon. Hmm? Complete ba? 1, 2, 3. Councilor Suset is around. Oh, she is around. I think she's still in her sa maning kwan, sa babae ning mag-touch ba? ah, okay. Okay na. Majority, Mr. Secretary. Good afternoon, everyone. The 67th regular session, Sangguniang Panglungsod, Dakbayan sa Cagayan de Oro is now called on to order. Please do stand. An invocation by Councilor Joylene Mercedes Balaba. Maayong hapon kanimo, konsyala.
Afternoon, afternoon.
Congratulations sa imong new office, ha?
Congratulations sa atong tanan, Vice. Let us all put ourselves in the presence of God. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Heavenly Father, we are gathered here today to ask for your wisdom and guidance to do our duties as servants of the people and servants of your holy will. Bless this hall, built and shaped so that we and our children may be able to live their lives to the fullest in a society that values unity and harmony. May you continue to give us strength as we brave the challenges of the time, especially in the midst of our battle against the pandemic. We ask again for your presence that we may continue to share the same goal in keeping the peace and prosperity of our city. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. In the name of the
Amen.
Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, Councilor Joylene Mercedes Balaba. And for the singing of our national anthem, and for the Cagayan de Oro March,
Sabi kay kaya ko.
Oh, hayag.
Ayag kayo.
Oh, may hapon sa tanan. Oh, to all the regular members of the 19th City Council, maayong hapon. And so, I would like to congratulate all of the city councilor for their new offices. It could be a medium for or an instrument to serve the people of Cagayan de Oro well, efficiently, without a cost. Huh? To deliver for a public servant, it is a mode or a medium to serve the people. For any transaction that you have, you conduct it with privacy for now on. Labi na kang kagawad Maria Lourdes Gani, kuya kayo opisina. Councilor Roger Cabaday. For with lechon. Congratulations. Anyway, anyway, congratulations to all of you guys, to my fellow public servant of the legislative department. Well, at this moment, Mr. Secretary, can you do the roll call and determine of our quorum this afternoon?
Honorable City Vice Mayor Renier Joaquin Vioy, Presiding Officer. For the first district councilors, Honorable Ednem Dehino, Honorable J.R. Pascual, Honorable Roger G. Abaday, Honorable Saldio Ocon, Honorable George is Goking, Honorable Ruben R. Daba, Honorable Lordan G. Swan, Honorable Romeo V. Calizo. For the second district councilors, Honorable Jelen Mercedes El Balaba, Honorable Maria Lourdes Isgaani, Honorable Ayan Mark Yunakaya, Honorable Suzette G. Magtahas Daba, Honorable Chudolfo E. Lau Jr.,
Present.
Enrico D. Salcedo, Honorable Jocelyn B. Rodriguez, Honorable Edgar S. Cabanlas. For the ex-officio members, Honorable Yan Lam Islim, Liga ng mga Barangay President, and Honorable John Michael El Seno, City Iski Federation President. There is a 100% attendance, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. So, 100% attendance this afternoon. So, there is our colleagues from their different abode. They are also live in social media via Zoom. Councilor Chodolfo Bunglao, Councilor Saldi Ocon, Councilor Jocelyn Rodriguez, Councilor Lordan Swan is on board. So, we have a quorum. Majority Floor Leader, Ayan Mark Kiblat Nakaya, maayong hapon kanimo Majority Floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ug mayong hapon, and congratulations also to your leadership for having provided the members of the council with respective offices, which we have honored and opened for grace this noon. And Councilor Maria Lourdes Gaanim demanded, Mr. Chairman, that we should recognize the presence, physical presence of our colleagues who are now with us. She demanded earlier. Councilor Doc Buboy Daba, welcome back. Councilor General Romeo Calizo.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. On and off, Councilor George Goking. Pero kung makabot sad na gift para sa asawa. And on and off also, Councilor Girly Balaba. O ang pinakaputi sa tanan. Hayag kayo ang atong session hall because of Councilor Suzette Magtahas Daba. Ba? Gawas-gawas.
Ako, gigawas na. Nakagawas na agad. Nakagawas na agad.
Tell me man daw ipagawas. Anyway,
Ah.
I move, Mr. Chairman, to dispense with the reading of the minutes of meeting on November 23, 2020, and to consider the furnishing its copy to every member as the reading itself.
Moved by the majority floor. Any second? Seconded. Correction? Correction? Is there any? There any? There is none. It is hereby approved. It is hereby approved.
I likewise move for the approval of the said minutes of meeting.
Second.
It's finally seconded.
We have special reports from our colleagues, Mr. Chairman, Councilor John Michael Seno on his second inspection report of the slaughterhouse, and Councilor Lordan Swan would like to render a report on the need for the city government to have its own contact tracing application. And Councilor Edgar Cabutlas would like to render a report on the incidents occurred in Cagayan de Oro of two foreign nationals who committed act which is beyond comprehension as locals in Cagayan de Oro. And just a manifestation coming from Councilor Romeo Calizo, Mr. Chairman, for referral to the appropriate committee, a request that he received from a constituent. On that
Okay.
sequence, Mr. Chairman, Seno, Swan, Cabanlas, and Calizo.
Okay, Councilor Seno, Councilor Swan, and Councilor Cabanlas for just a manifestation. Lastly, Councilor Romeo Calizo. Our first reporter, Councilor John Michael Seno, for his continuation about the special report.
May buntag may hapon,
Hapon.
City
Good
Vice Mayor
afternoon, Councilor John Michael Seno.
Joaquin Kikang Uy, members of the 19th City Council, friends from the media, fellow public servants, may hapon ka natong tanan.
May hapon.
This is a continuation of my previous report, Mr. Chairman, as regards to the our city slaughterhouse, and at the same time the review of the contract of the BOT contract between the city government and mega farms. I have a presentation, Mr. Chairman. Please bear with me because this is 37 slides. I will make it faster.
Oh, you prepare a slide
Mhm.
for the 19th City Council. Okay, carry
Okay.
on.
Next slide, please.
We're not just
This is
preparing
the coverage of this presentation, Mr. Chairman, is of course the response coming from the City Legal Office, the Department of Interior and Natural Resources, DNR, AMB, City Treasurer's Office, Office of the Building Official, City Engineering's Office, City Planning and Development Office, City Local Environment and National Resources, and City Health Office. Next slide, please. First, next slide. This is all about the comments coming from the City Legal. Next slide. First comment, ang sa City Legal, we find that the terms and conditions of the agreement is highly disadvantageous to the city government due to the following reasons. A, very low rate of monthly facility usage fee, which is found under Section 13, Article 4 of the agreement. Kung atong sabtan, this is a 2.45 hectares nga giokupahan sa ato ang para sa atong city slaughterhouse. Based on the schedule laid down therein, the project proponent's operator only pays 2.65 pesos per month for every square meter of the land and the slaughterhouse occupies for the first 5 years of the agreement. 3.32 per square meter per month for the 6th to 10th year. 4.14 per square meter per month for the 11th to 15th year. So every 5 years, ga-increase siya. Next is the amount paid to the city government as monthly facility usage fee is not commensurate to the incentives granted and the services provided for the project proponent operator. Nakaingon siguro ang City Legal ni Mr. Chairman because we have provided the city slaughterhouse a met inspector. There are 13 met inspector assigned on that area. And kung imong tanawon, medyo dako-dako ang gasto po sa syudad. Next slide, please. If the, muna yung last na portion, comments city legal. If the city government intends to exercise the option to terminate, it is necessary to establish that the project proponent operator fundamentally breached the terms and conditions of the agreement. With this in mind, we recommend that the thorough investigation be conducted by the concerned offices of the city government regarding all the circumstances surrounding the implementation and the operation of our city slaughterhouse. Next slide, please. This is a comment coming from the DNR. On March 6, 2020, the DNR AMB conducted an inspection on the waterways pre-sampling. Results of the laboratory analysis for the waterways samples revealed non-compliance to the general effluent standards for ammonia, biochemical oxygen demand, and the prospect pursuant to the DNR Administrative 2016-08. Next slide, please. Based on the contract under Section 7, the project proponent operator shall maintain the quality of effluent from the slaughterhouse channel to an adequately designed waterways treatment facility. Any discharge shall conform to the EMB DNR standards. This is the first violation. Next slide, please. Naay duha ka violation diya ang nakabutang. In fact, I asked DNR EMB kung unsay mahitabuan ni kung dili nila i-comply. Diya giklaro gibutang no, di lang kayo makita nato kay medyo gamay. It is a 50,000 pesos per day violation to our city slaughterhouse. Duha ka buk ilang violation, Mr. Chairman. Next slide, please. Next slide. Comment from our city treasurer's office. Based on the contract started on the year 2004. Therefore, kung atong kwintahon supposed to be nanata sa 11 to 15th year or 16 to 28th year, mo ni ang nasa atong kontrata. Next slide, please. Ang gabayran, kung imong makita diha, ang gabayran sa ato ang city slaughterhouse pa karon, Mr. Chairman, is naa pa kita sa, next slide please, 6 to 10th year. Therefore, naa na sila kulang dapat nga balay runon. Nga 11 to 15th year na unta supposed to be ilang bayran, dili 6 to 10th year. So kung imong kwintahon, naa na sila kulangon sa pagbayad sa ilahang taxes. Nguna, for me, this is the lifeblood of the city government. Because of these taxes, we give services to the people. Next slide, please. Comment from the Office of the Building Official. Annual inspection by the Building Inventory and Safety Division, BSAID, at the city slaughter plant of Mega Integrated Agro Livestock Farm. Signed by Engineer Edwinilo G. Nibi, Inspectorate Team Leader, Building Inventory and Safety Division, and Engineer Rico G. Loruno, Mechanical Officer, Processing Division, and endorsed by Engineer Ginito M. Sikia. Next slide, please. Muna ang comment para next slide para mapagamay. Based on Article 4, obligation of project proponent operator, the project proponent operator shall replace all the existing dilapidated equipments inside city slaughterhouse buildings and finance, rehabilitate, and redevelop the city slaughter facilities, including the Aboiter building and waste treatment facility, is strict compliance to the requirements of the plan's specification according to sound engineering practices. On Section 5, giklaro gud diha nga shall obtain all building permits, constructions, and other permits, licenses, and approvals to the project. Next slide, please. Giklaro po diha sa iyang comment, Mr. Chairman, nga walay building permit gikuha ang ato ang city slaughterhouse. Pinaagi lugar sa dokumento nga ilang gipangayo wala nakapresentar ang atong city slaughterhouse. Wala po pud ko nangutan multa ra gyud ni pangurta gini mo. Our next is the engineering office. Giklaro po sa atong city engineering office kay ato yung gipasiguro basin dito sila nakapasa. Nag-sign po si Engineer Roland M. Pakuribot, atong city engineer. No plans, detailed engineering design or other related documents nga naa sa ilahang opisina. Wala. Next slide please. Comment from our City Planning and Development Office. Next slide, please. Medyo di kay maklaro no, Mr. Chairman. Gibutang lang diha no nga relevant documents related to the said projects can't be located within CPDO documents holding despite diligent efforts to the part of the CPDO personnel to locate and search for the same. Walay dokumento sa ato ang opisina sa buhatan sa City Planning and Development Office. Supposed to be naapon dito maka-indicate sa ato ang zoning o kung unsa pa na ang mga requisitos. Next slide please. Comment from our City Local Environment and Natural Resources. Imo na gid niya. Sewerage inspection report of the Mega Integrated Agro Livestock Farm Corporation, Mega Farm, City Slaughterhouse, inspected by Engineer Armin A. Cuenca, MPA, ENP, Glenrob. Next slide, please. Kung imong mabasahan diya, Mr. Chairman, una nilang findings and observations. Pollution Control Officer, Mr. Ruel Semeni. Mr. Ruel Semeni has been trained by as a PCO. No training certificates were presented, but is unaccredited by the DENR EMB. Third, pertinent documents. DENR Environmental Compliance Certificate, absent. DENR Quarterly Self-Monitoring Report, absent. Business Permit, not presented. DENR Waterways Discharge Permit, absent. DENR Air Pollution Sources Permit to Operate, absent. DENR Hazardous Waste Registration Certificate, absent. Office of the Building Official Generator and Boiler Permit to Operate, absent. Water Quality Self-Testing Requirement, absent. And Air Quality Self-Testing Requirements, absent yapon. Ang water usage nila, deep well, source, not inspected. Ang ilahalang is ang source coming from the COWD. Next slide, please. On the waterways management, waterways effluent, septic tanks, the facility has 2 septic tanks with 3 chambers each. There has a record of dislodging the septic tank. Septic tank drainage goes directly to the canal and not to the waterways treatment facility. Diretso sa kanal, Mr. Chairman. So, gipangutanan ako siya kung unsa bay resulta ani. Medyo bikil gyud para sa ato ang mga constituents nga duol pud sa river. Mo comment pud sa ato ang Glenrob. Waterways treatment plant not functioning properly. Clogged drainage. The operation of waterways treatment facility is ineffective that result to failure to pass effluent standards of DAO 2016-08 and in violation of RA 9275, also known as Philippine Clean Water Act of 2004. Next slide, please. Solid waste segregation management. Establishment does not enforce solid waste segregation prior to disposal. They do not have materials recovery facility. There were solid waste caught red-handed on open burning. Therefore, nagsunog silang mga plastic dito sa ilahang boiler. And sabtanta na ay violation po sa ordinance niya na. Hazardous waste, the establishment does not employ hazardous waste segregation. They do not have a designed hazardous waste storage area. There was seen a drum full of waste oil coming from the truck or car wash and or repair area without cover and already mixed with water and other solid waste plastic. The pig nails, fur, and other inedible parts considered as hazardous waste are either incarcerated to the boiler or buried beside water waste lagoon. Recommendation. Based on the above findings and observation, the undersigned recommends to the following. Mega farms shall accredit their PCO. Comply with the permits from the DNR such as discharge permit, hazardous waste generation ID, and permit to operate generator, set, and boiler. Tapos comment ka ganina po sa ato ang Office of the Building Official. Next, ang ato ang comment from the City Health Office. Next slide, please. Medyo dili gid siya mabasa, no? Although I will provide you with the copy na lang sa kining comment sa City Health and ang ila lang dani is medyo na problema gamay. Next slide na lang. Na yung mga pictures, rusted equipments and pictures. Next slide. Kana City Health gyapon ang nagkuha ana. Next slide. Slaughtered pigs directly on the floor. Naa sa salub. Ibutang. Next slide please. Works with face mask as the only PPE worn while the client waiting on the background outside of the daytime operation area. Next slide please. Unsanitary condition and practices in daytime operation area. Ibutang na daw nila sa salog. Ang baboy. Next slide. Na nga itong mga dugo. Unsanitary condition and practices in daytime operation area. Butang na nila tanan. Next slide please. Next slide. Unsanitary condition of the transporting meat product, carcass, yan ang nahumana og limpyo. Receiving area for meat carcass during the daytime operation located in dirty area of the facility near the facility incarcerator and stockade. Next slide please. Washing area for meat delivery vehicle in front of the facility carcass receiving area. Therefore, nasa atubangan. Diya sila gakarwas, nasa atubangan ang katong galudinganan sa ato ang karkas nga gadalon diya sa ato ang mga baligyaanan. Next slide please. Next slide. That is all, Mr. Chairman, my presentation. But this presentation would like to create an ad hoc committee to start with the renegotiation with our mega farms. Kaya naman kita'y kontrata aning at 25 katuig. So naapay 9 years og sabtan nato nga this is very disadvantageous to the people of Cagayan de Oro. Unya okay lang ifadayon nila no bayran tong mga delinquent nga wala nila na bayran. Pero kinahanglan gyud nga magdemand ta og upgrade ug sundo nila ang mga requisites nga nakasaad diya sa atong kontrata. So I would like to propose another committee and I would be glad if I would be the chairman of that committee, Mr. Chairman, so that we could start the renegotiation and siguro matagaan pod og insakto nga pagtagad sa ato ang opisyales nga sa ingon dili po kay laway tan-awon, Mr. Chairman, ang mga requisite sa HUC nga syudad dili kayo inana ka lugar ingnon tatsada ang ato ang city slaughterhouse. Salamat kayo og maayong hapon kanatong tanan.
Okay, thank you, report of yours this afternoon. Any comment or reaction?
Mr. Chairman.
Councilor Enrico Salcedo.
Salamat, Mr. Chairman. May hapon atong tanan.
Ngayong hapon.
Salamat kay sa atong reporter nga Second niya inspection, wala gid siya manguban, siya ra gyud. Second inspection mo to ka. Out sa man to? Bitaw, Mr. Chairman, kung tanaw na to, Mr. Chairman, sa iyang report, daghang kayo violation. Nakapunta na lang ko, Mr. Chairman, unsa day gimo sa atong mga meat inspector dito? Anong sa presentation sa ni Councilor Seno, grabe kayo ang ilad kayo, lugar-hugaw kayo nga inoon, mawala raman ng kwan kung luto na. Mawala na. Ano, Mr. Chairman, unsay gimo? Ako lang pangutana. Unsay gimo sa mga meat inspector dito? Unsa man, nabutahan sila? Muna akong pangutana, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Enrico Salcedo.
Mr. Chairman.
Councilor Suset Magtahas Daba.
May hapon sa tanan at may hapon, Chairman. And I would just like to ask the good reporter katong sa about sa iyahang report sa finance regarding sa collection ang ilahang dapat bayaran kada bulan. How come dili insakto nga rate ang ilahang gakolektahon kung naamang gali kada tuig? There's an appropriate amount nga dapat bayaran sa mega farms. How come dili insakto ang ilahang gakolektahon? So I would just like to make a clarificatory question. If napangutan na ba sa atong good reporter, nganong dili mao nga amount ang ilang gakolektahon kada bulan? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Suset Magtahas Daba. Okay, Councilor John Michael Seno wants to answer the query.
Thank you kayo, Mr. Chairman. Just a response to Councilor Suset Mata's question, I raised this question on budget deliberation to our city treasurer. Yan tubag is wala sila kabaludok ano sa sila magsugod og kwintada. It's either 2004 ba daw sila magsugod sa pag-sign sa contract or dito na sila magsugod sa ika-17 na nga bulan gikan sa pag-start. So kung unsa ba kani nga sitwasyon na even me wala ko kasabot, Mr. Chairman, nga anong inana ilang tubag. Ug alkansi kayo ang atong dakbayan kung ato sabton ug gipangitaan nila agi karon, Mr. Chairman, and they would ask the City Veterinary Office kung kanos agad nag-start ang slaughterhouse kay para nga ila daw matagaan og bill ang mega farms to comply sa ilang mga wala na bayaran. Salamat kayo.
Okay, thank you, Councilor John Michael Seno. Okay, Councilor Saldi Ocon. Okay.
Maayong hapon, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Hapon, Councilor.
Pwede ko magkapangutan na lang, Mr. Chairman, sa atong good reporter, si Councilor Seno. Sir, pwede ko magkapangutan na?
Okay. You have all the time. Okay, carry on.
Okay. Nag-expire na ba ang 25 katuig nga kontrata sa Mega Farm?
Well, okay. Just continue asking Councilor Saldi Ocon, and then afterwards, Councilor John Michael Seno will answer it one by one. Okay.
Okay. Nag-expire na ba og 25 katuig ang akong pangutana? Kay gusto ko lang kana lang sa una, Mr. Chair, ang akong pangutana una.
Well, just continue all the questions you have. So clarify and question.
Okay, so nakumpleto na ba ang 25 katuig? Kanus ang nagsugod ang 25 katuig o kanus ang kini matapos? Og diya sa 25 katuig na kontrata, pila man ang agreement sa renta per square meter? Kay kadungog ko ganiya nga na-report, alkansi ang panudlanan sa gobyerno niadto nga pila to 2 pesos ra ang renta ato per square meter. So gusto ko na naklarohon kung natapos na ba ang kontrata, kay kung wala pa matapos, now di na to mabasol kung maura na ang amount nga gibayad sa Mega Farm ngadto sa syudad. Kay base man na sa kontrata. Not unless kung ato ning usbon ang kontrata right after sa expiration sa 25 years contract between the Mega Farms and the city government, Mr. Presiding Officer. So, muna akong mga pangutana. Now, another na kong pangutana sa report sa atong good reporter nga ay mga building diya nga way mga building permit gisulod. So, nga kong pangutana, tanawon sa natong kontrata ug unsay nakabutang sa kontrata. Kay base nakabutang dito sa kontrata nga mahimo sila mo repair nga wa na mga building permit pa. Kay mo yung kag building permit maghimo gyud ka og bag-ong building. Nya kung wala sila maghimo og building permit o building diha, unsa nga building permit ang atong kuhaon nila? Base nag-repair lang sila diha, Mr. Chairman. Ito ang gusto ko tanawon ang unod ana nga kontrata para maklaro po nato, Mr. Chairman. Kay kung tanawon nato, although di na to mabasol, ako nagpasalamat ko sa good reporter nga loud and clear kaayo. At least ang unod sa report para sa kayuhan sa tibuok katawhan sa Cagayan de Oro kay gikanon bud nato ng karne dia. Dabi hugaw tinuod na di madisgrasya ta. That is why gusto ta tanaw nato ng kontrata. Kung gusto po gihimo ani mga inspector nato diha kay mura og tanaw nato kung diha nang tambubasi murag luoy pod ang Mega Farm. Kay mura bag gumartilyo nato tamas ginawa pero di makabawos. Muna gusto ko tanawon ang kontrata kay tanawon po nato pila pod ka tuig ang Mega Farm. Maupoy gatiman sa pagkaon sa karnes tibo Cagayan de Oro, Mr. Chairman. Ya karon pay nuuna may na lugar. So tanawon po nato ang other side po, Mr. Presiding Officer. So thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Sandy Ocon.
Yeah. On the first,
Councilor John Michael Seno.
on the first query, Mr. Chairman, naa siya sa appeal man siya ani nga council sa pag-approve. Galing lang kaya under sa minutes nakagawa si Councilor Saldi Ocon. It is a
Okay.
year December 2004.
What council?
2004.
2004.
Yeah. Yeah, kung imong sutaon yun, 16 na katuig. Karon.
Wa pa mahuman.
Yeah, so napay 9 years nga
Wala pa.
kinahanglan nila sundon ang nasa kontrata. On the next query, kung naaba sa kontrata nga gikinahanglan ang building permit, gi-report na nako kaganina Councilor Saldi. It is clear on section 5 that the project proponent operator shall obtain all building permit. Construction.
Pila tong contract, Councilor sir? Pila tong Mr. Chairman, query? Pila tong rental nila per square meter, sir? Pila to?
Kaganina gi-present na gihapon ako.
Pila to, sir? Pila to?
I have to find out. Staggered to, ga-increase to siya every year. So every 5 years, ga-increase to siya. Oo, pero saktan ko pod nga kaniadto lagi, medyo ubos pa gyud ang syempre ingunta abang. Okay man, wala man tay problema ana. Wala man tay problema ana. Ang ato lang is kung unsay naa sa kontrata, kinahanglan ilang i-comply. And gani wala ta nag-move for termination. Gani ang atong gusto nga win-win solution. Nga para pod matagaan ang atong katawhan ug insakto pod nga lugar responses. Kay under this contract we give an exclusive franchise to the mega farms. Advantage na sa ilaha. So muna atong move karon Mr. Chairman nga negotiation kay para win-win ta Mr. Chairman ug wala sa atong una-una kani nga reporter nga i-terminate ang atong kontrata. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor
Mr.
John.
Chair,
Councilor Edna Dahino.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon to my fellow councilors and our visitors, our guests at the back. Good afternoon. Mr. Chairman, it's very clear during the presentation the violations sa mega farm, sa syudad o sa national government. So very clear nga kanang kinahanglan gyud ni siya masuta pa pag-ayo, Mr. Chairman, because daghan kaayo nga mga violations ang ilang nahimo. So to clarify things and to calculate all the violations that they had to pay for the city, there has to be an ad hoc committee. And this committee will now check tanan nga mga kanang kumbaga hesitant kaayo ang atong treasurer pagkolekta kay wala ma-define kaayo unsa nga tuig, unsa dapat how much, kay grabe ka gamay 3.32 per month for 6 to 10 years. Unya kung ato nang makasinati karon 11 to 16th year na ta and they collected or they just pay for the 6 to 10th year. So pirmi atras, Mr. Chairman. So disadvantageous sagad sa siyudad knowing nga kanang dili na siya competitive. Kung atong tan-awon nga negosyo man BOT. So wala maklaro gid ang para sa siyudad, Mr. Chairman. And likewise 50,000 per day ang violation nila sa DENR. Now pila na kabulan since I think that was June. Ang pagtanaw sa 50,000. So dako na kaayo ang ilang mabayaran. So with this, to have this win-win solution, Mr. Chairman, I would like to really support the resolution creating the ad hoc committee for this purpose, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Edna Dahino. Okay, Councilor. Before Councilor Edgar Cabanlas, Councilor Logdan Swan.
Follow up, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I agree that we should have an ad hoc committee because we also need to give them a chance to air their side. Aluoy mo sa kayo kung ato lang silang ayo-ayo diri and tagaan po nato sila higayon nga maka-explain, and I think the committee would be a good forum for them to be able to air their side. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman. Follow up.
Okay, Councilor Edgar Cabanlas.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And salamat kayo, Attorney Sino, for the report. It was an exhaustive and detailed report. Few of us can make that report. And it took time and efforts to dig all this record, going to all these offices that you mentioned, getting the responses from the different offices.
Okay.
Difficult to do that. So thank you very much for that report. But we are not here to ridicule or punish everybody, especially businessmen, because now that we are in a situation, we should help each other. But we cannot also avoid our responsibility as members of the City Council that we are the guardians of the public health, public interest, good governance, general welfare of our people. So we should do something also. Because what the topic today, Mr. Chairman, involves food, pagkaon. Delikado kayo kung kaunta sa adobo, na nakataroy nga taya ba, maraog. Sakit-sakit na ni kuntiyan niya. Now, so, yes, the consequence of violation of the contract, of course, is termination, invalidation, or we can ask for damages. And in the administrative function of the DNR, it can impose the 50,000 pesos a day from the beginning of the violation and up to the time that there is rectification of the violation. But as I said, Mr. Chairman, the purpose of Councilor Sino is not to, I think, it's not to put down Miguel Farm. I think the purpose is perhaps to help also Mega Farm. Perhaps Mega Farm did not really understand their responsibilities. They were not explained what they are supposed to do, how much taxes that they should pay, because even our tax collector, the city treasurer, is not aware of, does not know how much would be the proper collection. So, what is the purpose of that ad hoc committee? Ad hoc committee is not to find fault, but the meeting of the mind. Sabot-sabot. Dili ang pag-away. Hindi man daw gusto away. Ano awayon naman si Mr. Siyong ako mo siya nagbayro nun. Amot lang may bantawon. Gabayad na sila sa mga buhis. Unya, I think with Mr. Sihong, because I was one of those who approved that contract when I was still a councillor of the city in 2004. I was there when I was a member of the city council when that was approved. But I was no longer a member as the years go by during the time of the implementation of the contract. Sumayo ang among mga intensyon. Ang problema lang kung natuman ba ang atong mga sabot. So, the purpose of that ad hoc committee is magtinabangay. Government helping the businessmen, the private sector, and the private sector helping the government. Dili ang pagtuyo no, terminahon ang kontrata. Kung dili ang tinabangay, basin doon na pa kita'y mahimo. Yung madala pa naglimpi-limpi dia. Kaning water treatment system is very important, Mr. Chairman. I will insist on that. Kaya kanang water treatment, hugaw mo guna, nga mo ato sa water treatment facility, unya, inigawas na yung sa dagat, limpyo. Ang tanan tinai, dugo, tanan sa diagikan sa kwan, mga tumor sa kanadi ang mga hugaw, mo agi sa water treatment, ang mugawas ng tubig nga na, pwede na nato magamit sa panlaba. Muna ang purpose sa water treatment. Pero kung walay water treatment, it means nga, ang tanan hugaw, gikan sa, pagpatay nimo sa baboy, diretso na dayon sa dagat. Muna ang delikado. Makaon sa isda, ang hugaw, kita mo kaon sa isda, mayroon ba kaya kita mo kaon sa isda, lamin na kinilaw, disgrasya ta. So importante kayo ang water treatment. So I am with that motion to organize that ad hoc committee for purposes of looking for, sa English pa na gitawag nila, the golden mean. Ang golden mean, inamutay kita sa hunahuna o ideas o mga maayong buhaton nato para nga mo ang tanan, everybody happy, everybody will be satisfied. Dili kay mangita tagbikil ni bisan kinsa, no. Muna nga akong tuyo sad nga puyo na ko diyan nga plano nakitay ad hoc. And yes, if Councilor Sino is willing to serve as chairman, then let it be the chairman. Iyan naman ang sugdan, let it be that he be the chairman of that committee. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Edgar.
Chair. Mr. Chair.
Okay,
Mr. Chair.
Councilor Jocelyn Rodriguez.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, and congratulations also for the accomplishment. Now we have already our offices under your what you call this, sa imong term, no? Daghang kay salamat, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, is this anybody's fault? I don't think so. Na ay problema along the way with the city sa atong collection and the sa mga problema, and also with the mega farm. What we will do, Mr. Chair, is just give mega farm a chance also to explain their side and to present what will be done next, so that with this pandemic, no, makatabang ta nila, especially in the taxes, and also us, no, our end nga makakolekta pud ta nila. So we do not want that dili nato ni mahusay kay ngano sala man in both parties, sala pud nato, sala pud nila. So that was a very good report of Mr. Aseno. So we might as well give listen also to Mega Farm ug unsa po'y ilang mga problema along the way para masulbar ni, para usab madunggan nato unsa sa ilang problema ug atong problema within our own department. Ngano na ingon ani ni, nobody's to be blamed for this. Ang ako lang na we will be looking forward that we can meet halfway with them so that masulbar nato so we can have harmony on this matter. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Jocelyn Rodriguez. Okay, Councilor Roger Abaday, want to add something?
Thank you very much, Mr. Presiding Officer, my colleagues, and those who are watching and listening to us today. I commend the good reporter, no? Councilor Sino. It's no longer piecemeal, but it's already a complete report. Thank you very much. That we were shed lighted with your report. No? Now, mayog yun nga ipa-investigar, no? Because this is one of our investigation is one of our oversight power to monitor whether our past ordinances was really followed or implemented. Even though this is a 25-year contract, but does not mean it is absolute. So according to the report of Councilor Sino, there are so many agencies that are implicated on this. It's not only that Mr. Sihong, but including our city departments like veterinary, like our treasurer, the collector. They are stopped already. Pinabugado pa kan councilor tudluan ni ko ni councilor Cabanlas nga it was already a violation. There was a stupil, di ba? Doctrine of stupil, correct ba na? Okay. Natulog, wala nagpakabana ang atong syudad, ang atong tinugyanan dito tuwa sa slaughter. So there is a need to investigate. Ang pag-investigar, it does not mean nga sala na ganang party, no? Like that mega farm. But it is to find the truth. Kung anong naitabo na o kinsa may mga responsible person on this. So, as Councilor Cabanlas said, if there are violations, there are it might be improved or it might be dissolve ba ang contract ba o depende. So, I am supporting the move for an investigation of matter so that it will settle all the there are intricacies no nga wala gid maka tuman silang katugdanan, even our city department wala maka bantay nini. So good that Councilor Sino is very smart, so was able to report this on this matter to our station. So I support for that that there will be an ad hoc committee to be created for this purpose, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Roger Abaday. Okay, Councilor Romeo Calizo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon to all. Before our majority floor leader goes on with his traffic, let me just express a simple manifestation. If we look into the recommendations after all these inspection reports, as if the different departments of our bureaucracy are simply not doing their job so strictly. That's why the deficiencies, the non-compliances are being violated. Deficiencies are there. They're just being tolerated. So my point, Mr. Chairman, is that let us also review into what the different departments who should participate in the inspection of our slaughterhouse. If indeed the checklist, the list of their responsibilities are there, And if not, then in aid of legislation, we can legislate appropriate ordinances or appropriate resolutions to that effect, Mr. Chairman. And let's see to it that our different departments involved in the inspection are really doing their job. Because I'm really surprised through all the years that these violations, these deficiencies exist. Nothing happened. According to the report of Councilor Jan Seno, uh, if this happens in other cities, I think there are already proper or appropriate penalties already imposed. That's why, kanina, nangunta na dahil si Kagawad Eric Salcedo, penalty. So there's no penalty. Why? Because every after inspection, the recommendations are that very, very mellow, very, very soft, Mr. Chairman. So there's a need to review on what's supposed to be done by the respective departments or respective office involved here, even DNR. And if indeed they're doing their job. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor. Majority Floor Leader. Okay. Okay.
The inspector of Lechon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. May ngapon ka natuntanan. Actually, since there was already an agreement entered into and approved by the City Council last 2004, no, there was an agreement, and this was legally entered into by both parties. And considering that napay 9 years ang contract, I agree with Councilor Seno, Councilor Dahino, na we create an ad hoc committee to review the agreement and negotiate with the new one with the proponent. Kay considering nga daghan kay violations pod, isad nato ni siya pwede nga pasagdan lang. Na pa may 9 years, siguro sama sa gisulti nga na ay ang city government ug ang proponent na ay mga mali. So ang ato lang i-review lang siguro ang ad hoc, mag-contact ad hoc committee, create an ad hoc committee para ma-review ang agreement. That's all, Mr. Chair. Atong chairman. Thank you.
Continue talking. Lechon inspector.
Okay. Already explained by Councilor Maria Lourdes Gali. Thank you. Okay, Majority Floor Leader at this moment of time. Majority
Thank you.
Floor Leader.
Thank you,
Ayan,
Mr.
Mark, lahat
Chairman.
na kaya.
As ancient member of the council, like Councilor Cabanlas, we have the obligation, Mr. Chairman, to also sideline discussion and touch base on some unwritten rules and culture that should be propounded and continued. Because it is unwritten, it's not in the books, but it's within the practice of the organization. So that's our role as senior members of the council. And while I am highly appreciating the efforts of Councilor John Michael Seno, and with all the gatherings of the report and the rendition of the report, but let us recall that the council created a committee of the whole to undertake a review on the pending slaughterhouse. What do you call that? Itong ordinance? Meat inspection code. Alongside the inquiry of the slaughterhouse, which was brought by Councilor Cabanlas and raised in a formal resolution by Councilor Maria Lourdes Gani. The unwritten rule and the customary of the council, Mr. Chairman, is that when there is a committee of the whole, all members are members of this committee. And all proceedings should be attended to and participated by the members of the committee of the whole and the members of the entire council. So setting aside this comment, Mr. Chairman, I understand that the special report is not a report of the committee of the whole because it was an inquiry made and conducted by Councilor John Michael Seno on his own as member of the council. I respect that, Mr. Chairman. But if we create again an ad hoc committee, so the question of the secretary is what will happen to the committee of the whole we have created, which with the same intentions, Mr. Chairman. So it is my obligation, Mr. Chairman, to share this point of views with the members of the council. I am totally in appreciation with the report rendered by Councilor Seno. And I am 100% in agreement with the direction that he has posed and provided with the council. Because I, for one, Mr. Chairman, would like to raise the standard of Cagayan de Oro in all aspects of our lifestyle. In fact, there were discussions as to how we should capitalize the intentions of the President of the Republic, Digong, when he articulated and announced that the fourth Metro Cagayan de Oro would be a metropolitan city would be Cagayan de Oro. By 2025, we ran and made some moves so that the standard of living of Cagayanons will be raised. Even Clego at that, Mr. Chairman, is another setting of standard. Meat processing should be within a far standard that we would like to have for our people to eat. The meat inspection code also, Mr. Chairman, is another standard that we should raise, not just for whatever reason and basis we go against the standard. That is why I am 100% supportive to the changing of whatever changes that we should provide. And I am even to the extent, Mr. Chairman, find accountability to certain offices and individuals who have committed lesser than the requirement of the obligation that they have as participants in the kind of lowering of the standard of the health requirements and protocols, Mr. Chairman. That's my position, and ever since that would be my position, Mr. Chairman. So it's either we proceed with the committee of the whole or we create the ad hoc committee, Mr. Chairman. But there is now pending the committee of the whole. If we create the ad hoc committee, I am not against. We identify 3 or 5 members of the council to sit as members, or we continue with the committee of the whole and designate a chairman if we agree. Councilor Seno is offering his services. We will agree in unison to support him in his endeavor. So that's something that we would like to raise, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Majority Floor Leader. Ayan Mark Kiblat na kaya. Okay. Okay, Councilor Edgar Cabanlas.
Thank you very much, Councilor, our Majority Floor Leader, Ayan. I agree with that position that we have to determine first what we shall do with our original position that we created before the Committee of the Whole. Uh, but now that this is this report, which is quite exhaustive and informative, I would rather have, my proposal would be, I would rather have an ad hoc committee with a short number of members, fewer number of members, to assure the attendance. Kaya kung daghang kay ta, kita tanan, mura og lisod kayo, lisod so kabuk kita kabuk nga magtapok. So I would rather that we create an ad hoc committee of, as suggested by our majority floor leader, 5 members or 3 members or 4 members. Gamay ra gyud kay aron madali ra ang pagkuha sa quorum. And with that creation, then the committee of the whole that was created would be functus officio. That would it will lose its effectivity upon the creation of this ad hoc committee, because the ad hoc committee would be a replacement of that committee of the whole. Para nga, kaya kung committee of the whole kita, maglisod tag kuwag quorum, basig wa tayo mahimo. Mas may itong mga tulura o 5 ba para nga paspas ang pagliho. Salamat kayo, Mr. Chairman, and Majority Floor Leader.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Edgar Cabanlas. Okay? Or the rest of the members? Okay. So,
At the proper time, Mr. Chairman, maybe Councilor Cabanlas and Councilor Seno can confer and submit recommendation to the city secretary, and will take the matter up at the latter portion of the agenda as to the ad hoc committee that we will create, Mr. Chairman. So at the proper time, we will put into motion the proposal.
well, beforehand, for the violation, you have already stated the violation, Councilor John Michael Seno, for your special report. So did you enumerate all the violations? And so as the department or agencies concerns, as we observe, there will be different departments. So remember that there is an existing contract between a meeting of minds between 2 parties for the local government unit of Cagayan de Oro and so as to the mega farm. So bind as one for the betterment and for the service of Cagayanons, for the welfare, general welfare of the Cagayanons. It is just like a marriage contract between a husband and wife. We have an indifferences, but sometimes naatay kakulangon sa atong asawa o sa bana. Remember, we are in the moment of pandemic, so we have to help each other, especially our business sector. So we are together here with the public service. So as the majority of the 19th City Council for this ad hoc committee, from the Department of for their violation or Department of Health, and so as for their violation in our contract, and so as any other agencies for the health sector. So maybe as a member, Councilor John Michael Seno, for our special reporter this afternoon, and so as our economic enterprise Majority Floor Leader Ayan Mark Kiblat Nakaya, and so as the committee chairman on health, Councilor Maria Lourdes Cani, and so as our department, it's our
Environment.
that is why. So where is he now? For our committee chairman on environment, so as stated on the violation, that will be well represented by the different committees on our committee level.
Finance
So,
also, Mr. Chairman.
and so as finance, Councilor Edna Dahino. Okay. Councilor Edna Dahino, Councilor John Michael Zeno, Majority Floor Leader Ayan Mark Kiblat Nakaya, Councilor Maria Lourdes Gane, and so as the last and not the
Enrico
least,
Salcedo.
Councilor Enrico Salcedo. Maybe we will ask him if he will return. Uh, uh, so, well, there is a proposal already submitted by stated on the later part. Okay. So,
Chairman, please.
Councilor Enrico Salcedo from the Committee on
The,
Environment.
the suggested composition of the HADOC committee are as follows. Chairman, Councilor Sino, members, Councilor Abaday, Councilor Alam, Lim, Councilor Salcedo, Councilor Dahino, and then Councilor Cabanlas. And the proposal of the Vice Mayor is to include Councilor Nakaya and Councilor Gaani.
Well, that is too many.
No,
That is too many.
I'm yielding,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, to the proposal of some members.
Eight members, eight.
8 members. Just for
I am-
the 3 to 5.
In favor to Councilor Pascual, I'm yielding.
Ogo na.
Well, if that the case,
Pila na kabuk Turks?
well, that just be a 5 member.
Only 5?
Walo.
Only 5. Only 5. That is too many.
Kuhaan na lang ko Turks. Ayaw. Kay environment na importante ka. Kuhaan na lang ko Turks. Nga kuhaan na lang siya si alam kito. Kami dua.
Okay, 5 members, sirs.
Okay na.
Okay.
Okay na.
The other committee will be composed of 5 members. So, that's it. So, well, 8?
5.
Only 5? Okay.
Councilor Sino as chair members, Councilor Abaday, Councilor Salcido, Councilor Dahino, and Councilor Gaani.
Pwede na. At the proper time, Mr. Chairman.
Majority floor leader.
No,
Well, that
it's okay.
will be, well, for the economic enterprise.
Actually, on the part of the economic enterprise, Mr. Chairman, Mega Farm is updated in its payment as regards ante and postmortem. Only the BOT contract. In other words, on the side of the CED, it's a responsible organization.
Okay, as listed for the finality of the special report, as mentioned by our very own secretary, chaired by Councilor, chaired by, well, only 5 member. The other committee will be composed of 5 member. For its finality, as mentioned by Secretary Arturo de San Miguel. Okay, our next reporter, Councilor
Swan.
Lordan Swan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good
May
evening, everyone. So, my special report is about the QR codes, which are slowly being used by other cities and municipalities also. As a highly urbanized city, we should be at the forefront of initiatives to stop the spread of the coronavirus pandemic. Dynamic and creative solutions need to be considered and studied. One such initiative is the mandatory use of QR codes in order to hasten contact tracing and to provide an alternative to the tedious and time-consuming practice of filling up forms before we are allowed to enter establishments. QR codes can also be a means of alerting the establishment or office that the person trying to get in is COVID positive or is supposed to be in quarantine. Through this, such individuals will be prevented from going out. Even though other big cities have already implemented this mandatorily through an ordinance or executive order, I think we should observe them and learn from their experience. So my suggestion is that perhaps we can take this up in the appropriate committee and try to discuss whether we should go forward with this more formally. Because I came upon a website of, I think it was connected with our city, and they were igalaay man siguro to. I'm not sure, but I think it was a good initiative, and maybe if we could formalize it, it would be something that could work for us. So that's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Lordan Swan. But as far as our concern, there is already launching our City of Cagayan de Oro, our LGU. We already have the QR code. They have a different schedule for the approaches, different approaches for such proposal of yours. We already have. There is an addition coming from Councilor Maria Lourdes Gani about this QR code.
Actually, for the information of everybody, we have a pending ordinance on the Higala app. I think the Committee on Health tackled that for 3 meetings, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago with Councilor Doc Buboy Daba. I think it's pending with the Committee on Laws and Rules. So, Higala app. No, oy. Yeah, di ba? It was approved. We have a pending. No, yeah, not a legal opinion at sir. Please check with that.
Well, I think it is ongoing already.
The registration actually, sir, is ongoing. The
Ah.
registration is ongoing. It started with the city tourism last July of this year. They have been going from with the different establishments for the registration of the Higala app. Pero the implementation, wala pa kay gahulat na sa ordinance. And once it is approved, na by 3 weeks for publication on this. So this was already approved by our Committee on Health. We forwarded that to the Committee on Laws and Rules, sir. Please check na lang.
Okay. Well, but for the information of everybody, the one who is coming, entering the premise of City Hall, will be obliged to have a QR code.
Yes, sir.
Already
Yes, sir.
in the gate proper. All the visitors and all who are entering the premise of City Hall are already have the QR code. So maybe they have a different approach in launching such QR code. Oh. Okay. Okay. Any other? Okay. Thank you, Councilor Lordan Swan, for your report, and so as for the informative response coming from Councilor Maria Lourdes Gani. We'll update it for any other implementation about this QR code. Okay. Okay, our last reporter, Councilor Edgar Cabanlas. Mayong hapon kanimo, Councilor.
May hapon kay nagulat na dapat itong litson. My special report, Mr. Chairman, is about a request from the umbrella organization of all of several human rights groups in the city. The group is Cagayanon Against Sex Offenders. I would like to read the letter of the group. October 14, 2020, Honorable Edgar S. Cabanlas, City Council, Cagayan de Oro City. Dear Honorable Cabanlas, the CASO or Cagayanon Against Sexual Offenders, through its secretariat, Balaod, Mindanao, is writing your office to request that the recently apprehended alleged human traffickers be declared as persona non grata in the city of Cagayan de Oro through an enactment of a resolution. The CASO is a network of civil society organizations dedicated in protecting the children of Cagayan de Oro and its nearby areas from trafficking and sexual abuse. We have been actively monitoring cases of abuse and exploitation against women and children, particularly OSA and human trafficking in Cagayan de Oro City. Apparently, from the evidence gathered against Mateo Aaron Clement and Daddy Louis Lilano Valdica, they engaged in acts in violation of various Philippine penal laws, specifically Republic Act 9208 or the Anti-Trafficking in Persons. Their involvement in the trafficking of children of Cagayan de Oro is abhorrent to the highest degree, and we consider their presence detrimental and harmful to the interest of the people of Cagayan de Oro, especially to our children. It is the network's fervent belief that in declaring these kinds of people unwelcome in our beautiful city will appropriately deter and forbear future similar actions towards our people. In the same vein, the declaration will serve as stern warning to foreign nationals and to Filipinos alike that the local government of Cagayan de Oro City, along with the various groups with shared advocacy to protect children against all forms of abuses, is serious in the pursuit to a much safer city for our children. Signed, Vergi Dimata, Executive Director, and Juna Domingo, Executive Director, Gugma Kabataan. And also signed by Risa Lee Santos, Executive Director of Balaod, Eliuni Munding, Tisaka, Jennifer J. Kamazura, Malisa Homes Incorporated, Johnny Denden, Convenor Humanist Alliance Philippines International Northern Mindanao Chapter, Alexa Burrius, Central Committee Member, Youth Volunteers for Peace and Development, Angel Frances Tagarao Bores, Deputy Organizational Development, Amnesty International Philippines, Region 10A, and Frances Gascon Jr. of Xavier College of Law. So, I think these two foreign nationals who were mentioned were now detained because of the city prosecutor's office found them probably under probable cause to be guilty of these crimes they have committed, which is the abuses against our children here in the city.
Come again, Councilor Edgar Cabonlas. Daddy
Louis.
Daddy Louis.
Daddy Louis.
Is he a foreigner or
Foreigner,
a foreign
yes.
national? Or I think it's just a name. But
His real name is Louis Lilano Valdica. Marami siya Ograsyan. Nasa niya pag marang na taga Eastern Europe. So, daghan na kayo mga dautan tao din sa atong dakbayan, Mr. Chairman, nga mga foreigners, bago pa lang na-convicted. Foreigner ka po. Gipatay ang bata. Yung giabusahan. Daghan kayo.
So the prayer of that organization will be?
The prayer is kining i-declare ko na to persona non grata, pero akong tanaw po kung persona non grata, kining na may atong constitutional guarantee nga everybody is considered innocent until proven guilty. So di sa nato sila tagon nga persona non grata kay mura guilty na sila. But we can pass a resolution condemning in the strongest possible terms the act of these people in the city of Cagayan de Oro. Kaya ron
That is why.
muna atong buhaton.
Well, what if he will invoking or they will invoke the right to travel? So,
dili man ni siya maka-apekto kay kuan man ni siya. Kining gi-condemn ta malang.
I think your proposal will be much better for the condemning.
Condemning.
But the persona non grata,
Ayaw na persona non grata kay
Gata will be, I think it's very,
Dabi og
it's hard for us.
Dabi not guilty sila di
Acquit. And
delikado. So, mas may na lang condemning the acts, not the person, the acts.
the act itself. Okay.
Pero baga na ni sila naong, Mr. Chairman, ang na gini.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
At least in our part, in Sangguniang, we'll do it. Of course. Okay. At the proper time, Councilor Edgar Camanlas, thank you for a good special report, reminding us and so us through such organization to you. Okay, Councilor Roger Abaday.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you also that report. No? Now, I understand that this group, karang kaso, these are group of lawyers, no? And, diba, mga lawyers, these are group of conservative people, especially those who are abuses of not only child but even adult, no? Now, I am asking if what is the position of these people? Are they ordinary or are they diplomatic people? Because if we talk of persona non grata, meaning this Latin word, this is unwelcome person. No? In our country, we are adopting also the rules in Vienna Convention that persona non grata, this is to declare member of diplomatic staff. We adhere with this principle. But if the suggestion of Councilor Cabanlas as a lawyer, no, we do not declare persona non grata because we might be preempting that they are guilty. Now, how about condemning? So we are also presuming that they are guilty. So are we not I will not be compromised with that position if we will pass this resolution, Mr. Chairman. The same that we are presuming that they are guilty. Or may I ask the good lawyer if these are semantic or we might be charged of one-sided, no? So
Okay.
we do not want also the city council will be put in the
Okay.
highlight of being biased, Mr. Chairman.
Well, Councilor Edgar Cabanlas is reiterating the act itself. We are condemning the act itself, not the person. The act itself.
But Mr. Chairman, they are still presumed innocent unless proven otherwise.
Well, it is not directed to the people or the act itself.
Their commission.
It is different for directly.
But the law condemns already. At least there is a law that condemning and even penalizing this act.
Well, in order to please the organization, I will just condemning the act.
There is a law already punishing who commits this act. And why do we? I just want to be clarified, Mr. Chairman. I know that Councilor Cabanlas is a good explanation on this.
Just to please, to please for the organization or letter addressed to him, well, we will just condemning the act itself, not to the person, which is in the course of law or it is already in the court. So we'll just waiting for any decision will come up. So we'll just condemning the act itself. Well, I am very much more preferably the suggestion coming from Councilor Edgar Cabanlas. Okay, Councilor Dahino, want to add something about it?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, actually, that letter is kanang gisubmit na sa ako, Mr. Chairman, and I was confused sa persona non grata nga na may kaso, Mr. Chairman. That is why I suggested na idalo na lang sa legal office. So wala pa sila nakahatag, but I strongly agree and support the recommendation of Councilor Cabanlas with that, Mr. Chairman, condemning the act. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Edna Dahino. Okay. So Thank you. Councilor Edna Dahino. Uh, your mask, face shield or face mask, Councilor Edna Dahino, will be very unique. It's, terno ba? Terno. From face mask to down to,
Mr. Chairman,
okay, anyway, okay, Councilor, we'll continue. Okay, Councilor Saldi Ocon.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will not argue with Councilor Edgar Cabanlat because he is a lawyer and profession, of course. But point of view lang, Mr. Chairman, although as he made mention that we are not condemning the person, but what we are condemning is the act of a person. But the one who is acting is the same person, Mr. Chairman. So, on my point of view, Mr. Chairman, considering that this case, I understood, it was already handled before the court of law. So ato na lang sa ning pasagdan nga moaginot ang balaod. Total na naman na sa korte, Mr. Chairman. Dila sa tamo pass of resolution condemning the act only because we are not sure yet what if after the trial ma-acquit ng tao, mapahiya tayo. So, naman na sa korte lang sa ang bahala, Mr. Chairman. Although atong girespeto ang report ni Councilor Edgar. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Saldi Ocon. Okay, Councilor Enrico Salcedo.
Dagan salamat, Mr. Chairman. Ano si Daddy Louie, Mr. Chairman? Kadunggan ko na sa panahon pagani nga ako'y chairman sa...
Come again, the name of?
Daddy Louie.
Daddy Louie.
Daddy Louie. Sige ko na kadunggan, Mr. Chairman, panahon nga chairman ko sa Committee sa Social Services. During sa katong pag-conduct na to public hearing sa pagpasa na to sa Parental Responsibility Code, gigawas na siya nga problema, Mr. Chairman. Dugay ni gigayo. Salamat ko, Mr. Chairman, nga si Daddy Louie natakpan. Oh, niya, wala, good. Niya, naging na siya FB account. Nga muna siya gakontakon sa mga bata. Muna, Mr. Chairman, nga mauyon sa ko sa idea po sa akong uyuan ni Councilor Habaday nga nung di naman nato i-declare nga persona non grata lugar hardlock ta kay wala pa makakommit wa pay final judgment, Mr. Chairman. Una nga kini nga tao nga problema gini siya. Busa mo uyon ko sa letter sa tong organization nga at the same time i-condemn na to, at the same time i-declare na to persona non grata. Dili siya welcome kini si Daddy Louie. Dili welcome sa tong City of Cagayan de Oro, Mr. Chairman. Kay sus grabe kayo kung katong pagkandak na to sa public hearing sa tong Parental Responsibility Code. Grabe kayo ang report gikan sa mga eskwelahan, Mr. Chairman, kay didto ni siya gapang ngolekta og babae sa mga sagara mga senior high, Mr. Chairman. Busa ako salamat ko angay pa nato itagag commendation tong pulis nga nakadakop, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, we have a different opinion, different ideas. But what if with different name or different people, the same acts of maliciousness or acts of lasciviousness, we will still, or this could be a precedent that we every time that there is an act itself like that or such like it.
The same, Mr. Chairman, kay during
keep,
sa public hearing na to sa Parental Responsibility Code, kay ginablame ang mga parents kay gipasagdan nila ilang mga anak. Nya nakita nato sa FB o na-investigate nato nga bata mo the same person tong nadakpan, Mr. Chairman. Katong Murag ditumtos taxi siguro nadakpan ko. Pasalamat ko nadakpan,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, for Daddy Louie, but we have not to isolate uh, Daddy Louie from other uh, accused, no? From different accused. What if any other people for such any acts with the same kind, with the same but different person? So this could be a precedent for every time there is an act committed such like that will be could be a declaration of persona non grata. So every time there is a malicious acts committed by the different people, we still or keep on the city council keep on committing for declaration of persona non grata. So maybe that could be a precedent. So we have to think it twice or after a proposal for it. Okay, Councilor Jagabaday.
That's very good information, Mr. Chairman, of Councilor Salcido. But let us be sure about this. If we will declare condemning them, these people, then let us ask records from the NBI or the police for our own reason to declaring them condemn. But I would not like the word persona non grata because that is for diplomatic person. Ato na nun siya i-promote na nun siya yung pagka-kriminal o kriminal magaling because persona non grata is for this is a diplomatic or diplomatic person people. But he is an ordinary person, cannot be declared persona non grata. Condemning that might be the right term, but we should have the basis for us also not to be compromised later on, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair.
Councilor Jagabaday.
Mr. Chair.
Well, okay.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Edgar Cabulas, for your good special report.
Mr. Chair.
For the participation of everybody. Well, maybe we will just, I think, condemning the act itself later on at the proper time. Okay, there could be, there's still, okay, okay, for just a manifestation. Okay, Councilor Romeo Calizo, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I just like to express a simple manifestation brought about by the letter of the commander of the 1st Special Forces Battalion to our very good Mayor, Oscar Moreno. And said letter was further referred to your office, and it is further referred to the Committee on Public Order and Safety. This is all about Executive Order 70, which calls for the creation of the National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict, or the NTF-LCAP. So through local means, there's an attempt of government to end the communist armed conflict. I'd just like to read, Mr. Chairman, the content of the letter. Dear Honorable Mayor Moreno, this is reference to Executive Order 70 of the national government, which calls for the creation of National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict. The NTF-LCAC is the national government's interagency mechanism to address the social, economic, and cultural root causes of insurgency. It serves as the national government's platform for convergence effort to provide peace and development interventions in the geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas across the countryside. At present, the NTF-LCAP aims to orchestrate the construction of various community-based projects, such as farm-to-market roads, school buildings, water and sanitation system, national greening program, and health centers. With the same commitment for peace and development, the House of Representatives allocated 19 billion pesos budget for this purpose. So it is proposed under General Appropriations Bill for fiscal year 2021 to support such projects in 822 conflict-affected barangays, previously cleared by the Armed Forces of the Philippines from calendar year 2016 to 2019. These projects are necessary in resolving the armed conflict in the countryside and shall be the decisive factor in ending the communist insurgency. Cagayan de Oro City has also outskirt barangays that have been affected but are now cleared, and they too shall be recipient of these projects. Relative to this, may I request the Honorable Mayor for expression of support in terms of a local government resolution to support the inclusion and approval of the 19 billion pesos in the proposed General Appropriations Bill for fiscal year 2021. So the request of the said commander of the Special Force Battalion, Mr. Chairman, is simple. Just a simple resolution in support to the inclusion. Because actually, specifically in the list, 11 barangays of Cagayan de Oro City will be recipient to this project. But at the proper time, Mr. Chairman, I will sponsor a resolution. But first, because this is a finance and fiscal matter, I just like to have this subject to the perusal of the chairman of the Committee on Finance and Appropriations before in the next session, Mr. Chairman, we're going to propose for approval the appropriate resolution. Anyway, this already included then in the bill for fiscal year 2021. It's only a matter of having it supported for inclusion so that it will be approved for this question. Anyway,
For inclusion, but
11 barangays out of here in Cagayan de Oro will be,
well, the source of fund will be the national government.
yes, it is coming from the national government.
Okay, maybe we will include it on a later
At the proper
time. Well,
Yes, I just have this subject to the perusal of the committee chairman.
well,
No more. No more.
the owner will be the source of fund will be the national. So maybe
Yes.
we'll just include.
It's
We'll-
just
we'll consider.
just as a manifestation of
Just
support
for a support.
subject,
Just a support.
so that
well,
it will be approved, Mr. Chairman.
The matter of act that the national budget is already approved. So I think it is already included in the General Appropriations Act or law. It's already law. So maybe at the proper time, that proposal of yours will be included
We'll pass
in
the
this
resolution.
for subject for a general consent of the members.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Romeo Calizo. Okay, Majority Floor Leader.
Thank
The
you, Mr.
orders
Chairman.
of the day.
We'll proceed to the agenda proper. One is proposed resolution number 2020-237, confirming the appointment of Police Colonel Rizalino R. Borlagdatan as City Government Department Head 2 of the Roads and Traffic Administration RTA with all rights and privileges apportioned thereto. Before I make the necessary motion, I was informed by the City Secretary, because as a matter of course, in the Committee on Laws and Rules, Mr. Chairman, we asked the department head appointed to present himself to the council, and he relayed earlier to the city secretary that he's not available because he's, what do you call that? On isolation. But
Okay.
when the secretary informed him, not him as the patient, Mr. Chairman, but just because of the circumstance. But when the city secretary informed him that there is an online or virtual attendance to our session, but
But still, it's not around.
he did not positively uh, agree with the proposal. So I submit that to the body if we will, as a matter of course, or uh, maybe hear some opinions from the members. Councilor
Okay.
Daino, Mr. Chairman, is
Okay. Okay, Councilor Enrico Salcedo, then afterwards, Councilor Edna Dahino. Okay, Councilor Enrico Salcedo.
Mr. Chairman, mas may siguro nga nagi ang presence. Busa,
Much better.
Wala man siya, Mr. Chairman, I move to defer. I move to defer this item or agenda, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, there is a proposal for deferment. Any second? Seconded by the majority of resolution number 2020-237 is deferred.
number 2, Mr. Chairman. We advise the Secretary to recalendar the same to our next session. Number 2 is proposed resolution number 2020-238, returning to the Barangay Council of Barangay FS Catanico, the city. Its ordinance number 001 series of 2020 covering its annual budget for calendar year 2020 with an estimated income of 4,094,875 pesos with information that said ordinance is operative in its entirety. Move for its approval, Mr. Chairman.
Properly moved by the majority floor. Any second? Seconded. Objection? Objection. There is none. Resolution number 2020-238 is hereby approved.
Move to dispense second final reading.
Dispense. Seconded.
Number 3 is proposed resolution number 2020-239, returning to the Barangay Council of Barangay Punan, the city. Its ordinance number 001 series of 2020 covering its annual budget for calendar year 2020 with an estimated income of 23,554,398 pesos with the information that said ordinance is operative in its entirety. Move for its approval, Mr. Chairman.
Properly moved by the majority floor. Seconded. Objection. Objection. None. Resolution number 2020-239 is hereby approved.
Move to dispense second final reading.
Dispense. Seconded.
Number 4 is proposed resolution number 2020-240, returning to the Barangay Council, Barangay number 35, the city. Its ordinance number 002-2019, series of 2019, entitled an ordinance enacting the ecological solid waste management of Barangay 35, Cagayan de City, with information that said ordinance is operative in its entirety. Move for its approval, Mr. Chairman.
Properly moved by the majority floor. Seconded. Objection. Objection. None. Resolution number 2020-240 is hereby approved.
Move to dispense second final reading.
Dispense. Seconded.
5 is proposed resolution number 2020-241, endorsing and or interposing no objection to the application of Eastern Telecommunication Inc. ETPI Kyotosh Engineering Services KES, represented by its OSP-BICS manager Felix D. Umpad, for a permit to install aerial fiber optics in Cagayan de Oro City, subject to the rules and the regulations imposed by the city and of other government agencies covering such operation. Move for its approval, Mr. Chairman.
Properly moved. Seconded. Objection. Objection. Hearing none. Resolution number 2020-241 is hereby approved.
Move to dispense second final reading.
Dispense. Seconded.
Number 6 is proposed resolution number 2020-242, interposing no objection to the application for certificate of completion filed by the Corporation with the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development, Region 10, for its Westgate Highland subdivision project located in Barangay Lumbia, this city. Move for its approval, Mr. Chairman.
Properly moved by the majority floor. Any second? Seconded. Resolution number 2020-242. Objection? Objection. It is hereby approved.
Move to dispense second final reading.
Dispense for its finality. Second.
Omnibus motion for being similar or in the same nature, 7A, B, C, A. Proposed resolution number 2020-243, approving and or adopting the Supplemental Annual Investment Program, SAIP, number 02 for calendar year 2020 of the City Government of Cagayan de Oro. B, proposed ordinance number 2020-188, confirming the approval of supplemental budget number 4 of the general fund and supplemental budget number 2, the special account local economic enterprises, both for calendar year 2020 with estimated incomes of 328,906,096 pesos and 48 centavos and 20,500,000 pesos, respectively, against estimated expenditures of the same amounts. C, proposed ordinance number 2020-189, confirming the approval of supplemental budget number 5 of the general fund for calendar year 2020 with estimated income of 4 million pesos against estimated expenditures of the same amount. Move for the approval of 7ABC, Mr. Chairman.
Move. Seconded. Objection. Objection. None. Resolution number 2020-243, resolution, ordinance rather, 2020-188, ordinance number 2020-189 is hereby approved.
Move to dispense second final reading.
Dispense for its finality.
Number 8, Mr. Chairman, is proposed ordinance number 2020-190, changing the nomenclature of the vacant position senior meat control officer, item number 35/SG-19, veterinarian 3 SG-19 in the Plantilla of the City Veterinary Office, the city in compliance with the Department of Budget and Management, DBM, Local Budget Circular number 61, dated March 18, 1996. Move for its approval, Mr. Chairman.
Properly moved. Seconded. Objection. Objection. Hearing none. Ordinance number 2020-190 is hereby approved.
Move to dispense second final reading.
Dispense. Seconded.
Number 9 is proposed resolution number 2020-244, returning to the herein enumerated barangay councils, the city, the respective barangay ordinances covering the imposition of fee for the issuance of barangay clearance for business permit, construction permit at the rates specified therein, with the information that said ordinances are operative in its entirety, as provided in the table, Mr. Chairman, for the 59 barangays, urban and rural, with a almost uniform fee. Move for its approval, Mr. Chairman.
Properly moved. Seconded. Okay, for discussion. Okay, Councilor Enrico Salcedo.
Siguro, Mr. Chairman, kini nga resolution sa mga 59 barangays, di ba? Siguro muna siyang result sa ease of doing business. Nga ako lang pangutan, Mr. Chairman, kay I think magbutang man siguro sila or ang city treasurer na ba mo kolekta ani nila, or ako lang, Mr. Chairman, kung na mga existing ordinance magod sa barangay nga say may tabo adto, for example, ang akong idol, ang akong majority floor leader at that time nga siya kapitan nga diyan ako gi-copy ang authority to operate.
Dumawan pa nimo.
Akong idol. Ang business clearance, Mr. Chairman, kuha man good. Basin ako lang nang gi-raise, Mr. Chairman. Basin na yung mga pressure coming from the national agency. Kanya ang resulta mo ram gyapon. Maghimo man gyapon og ordinance kay ordinance man gyapon ang gihimo sa barangay. Una okay man wa may problema, Mr. Chairman, di man ko against. Pero para na ako observation kay during the time nga nag-committee meeting ni Mr. Chairman, murag nawala ng autonomy sa barangay. Ang may tabo. Wala na akong comment, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Councilor Santiago.
Query lang, Mr. Chairman, sa out of 59 barangays, barangay number 28, kuan lang ilaha 500. Barato sila sa tanan. Ngano man ni, Mr. Chairman, pwede ba mutana sa kuan ani? Utor?
That's why it must be uniform. I think it
Oo.
must be better to be uniform since it is urban barangay.
Oo. Dapat iparehas na lang ni 1,000, Mr. Chairman. I move for the amendment para uniforma. Kaya base niya mo ng pikas nung barato man dito, mahal niyo dire. Ano ba?
Okay, okay. Well, okay. Before Councilor Yan Lamlim, there is a proposal. There is a proposal rather for amendment from 500 to 1,000. So to make it uniform for everybody for this approval. Okay. Okay.
That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Councilor Saldi Ocon, this could be a barangay ordinance. So we'll just act on it to whether approve it or disapprove it for this proposal, since this could be a barangay ordinance.
Well,
Okay.
that is the case, Mr. Chairman.
Motion, Councilor Saldi Ocon. We have
I
to.
move.
Okay, Councilor Yan Lamlim for a proponent committee.
I would like to differ, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Before Councilor Saldi Ocon, we have to listen for the proponent committee. Okay, Councilor Yan Lamlim.
It has been agreed already from almost all barangay that we will make a one-stop shop. So, ang city ang magkubraan through i-proposal man ni atong chairman sa commerce ni Goking. So, it was agreed nga lamay balaod ko ni President Duterte nga 3, 7 days, 15 days. So, enable na to para madali ang facilitate one-stop shop. Agreeable nga maximum na gini 1,000 per services naman. No?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
So agreed between this all barangay stated therein.
Yeah,
Okay.
they have to make resolution before each barangay mo man required sa DLG nga mag-submit sila ng resolution.
Oh,
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Yan Lim. Okay, Councilor Saldi Ocon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For uniformity, Mr. Chairman, I would like to hold first in abeyance to defer this resolution, proposed resolution number 2020-2044, to give time, Mr. Chairman, to Barangay 28, na ilang usbon nila, kay mapig man sila ani Mr. Chairman. Ang uban, 1,000 na tanan. Sila nag-iintawi na bilin, kasi mautro pa ilahang resolution, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
We'll just listen for Councilor. Okay, Councilor Jocelyn Rodriguez.
Mr. Chair, I would like to address this question to Councilor Alamlib. There are only 59 barangays listed here. So what happens to the rest of the barangays? Because we have 80 barangays. So what happens to this? Are there ordinances also? Are they included in these ordinances? Kay wala man na-appeal ang uban nga barangay. 59 ra ang nalista nga barangay, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So, okay, Councilor Yan Lamlim.
Ang uban barangay wala pa sila nakasubmit. So
Okay.
maybe next ma-submit nila. So
Okay.
So, Mr. Chair, Councilor Alamib, so for now, they can still proceed with the old ordinance that they have.
Yes.
By January, January, no? They have to submit on or before January 1st week.
Okay. So the barangay which are not listed here or stated here in the proposed ordinance, still to continue with their own or old ordinance they have. So, Councilor Enrico Salcedo. But remember, there is a pending motion for deferment from Councilor Santi Ocon, but not yet seconded. Well, just
Ang
listen po.
barangay, Mr. Chairman, na may local autonomy. Maka-decide ba ng barangay? Kung ako'y kapitan sa ka barangay, dili ako mo submit pag another ordinance. Akong kung unsa existing ordinance, for example, katong authority to operate nga gikuan sa akong idol, si Councilor Nakaya, nga kining man kana ko atong tan-awon, Mr. Chairman, income man sa barangay. Kung miyon ta nga ease of doing business, isubmit na ko akong existing ordinance nga katong authority to operate sa kuan para kung unsay nakabutang sa akong ordinance, may kubrahon sa Treasury's Office. Lugar, siguro, di ba sa mayong paan lang sa katungod ang barangay? Kanang 59 barangay ba? Ang kanang wala, 21 barangay. Ako sila i-encourage ka. Dili na sila mag-iw another ordinance. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank
Mr.
you.
Chair.
Enrico.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Jocelyn Rodriguez.
I go for Councilor Salcedo. Correct na iya. Autonomy. We should be, we are autonomous, no? Kaning atong ordinansa, we had previous ordinances already implemented in our barangay. And karon nate bago na sad with the collection dito na sa city. So I don't think it is fair. Kay nga no, we wanted to earn. The barangay wanted to earn. Gusto mi nga mabuhi pud ang barangay. So ang ako lang unta nga i-differ una ni. This is for discussion because I don't think tanan gyud gusto ani with the way it is being presented, no? And I do not know whether the barangays the barangay chairs are reading this this ordinance, although they have signatures that I wanted to question. Kay in looking at this amount, no, dili fair. There are barangays who have they already collected more than 1,000, no? Kay tungod dako sila nga barangay. So it's already been implemented in their own barangay. So I think it's fair nga differ lang una ni Mr. Chair, and we will have this check on this matter. And Councilor Salcedo was right. Autonomy. That is the right word for the barangay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Jocelyn Rodriguez. Okay, there is a pending motion for deferment coming from Councilor Saldi Ocon, and afterwards there is also coming from Councilor Jocelyn Rodriguez. Any seconded for deferment of this ordinance. Objection. None. Resolution number 2020-244 is different.
Pila ka items there? For inclusion, Mr. Chairman, we have items 10, 11, 10, 11, we have 12 from the creation of the ad hoc committee. Then the 13 from Councilor Calizo. Isa pa. Wala na ba? Duha naman? Atulo? 14.
10, 11,
up to 14, Mr. Chairman. Hope for their inclusion.
for inclusion. Item number 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Any second? Seconded. Carry on majority floor.
10 is proposed resolution number 2020-245 endorsing the proposed project Lumbia Dulawun Farm to Market Road to Sitio Lower Kiam East, Lumbia, the city with the project cost of 4,850,707 pesos for funding under the allocation for the city under the guidelines on the release of the shares of local government units from the fiscal year 2018 collections of excise tax on locally manufactured Virginia type cigarettes and Republic Act number 7171 and Burley and native tobacco excise tax pursuant to Republic Act number 8240 as amended by RA number 10351, chargeable against the locations to local government units under the fiscal year 2020 General Appropriations Act, RA number 11465. Move for its approval, Mr. Chairman.
Properly moved by the majority floor. Any second? Seconded. Objection? Objection. None. Resolution number 2020-245 is hereby approved.
Move to dispense second final reading.
Dispense. Seconded.
Proposed resolution number 2020-246 endorsing the proposed project Lumbia Impaumbo Farm to Market Road to Tagpangi, this city, with a project cost of 7,980,612 pesos for funding under the allocation for city under the guidelines and the release of the shares of local government units from the FY 2017 collections of excise tax on locally manufactured Virginia type cigarettes under Republic Act number 7171 and Burley and native tobacco excise tax pursuant to Republic Act number 8240 as amended by RA number 10351, chargeable against the locations to the local government units under the FY 2019 General Operations Act, RA 9 number 11260. Move for its approval, Mr. Chairman.
Properly moved. Any second? Seconded. Objection? Objection. So, already tobacco plantation in India. It's very good to hear. So properly moved and seconded. Objection? Objection. None. Resolution number 2020-246 is hereby approved.
To dispense second final reading.
Dispense with its finality. Seconded.
Number 12 is proposed resolution number 2020-247 creating an ad hoc committee to study and review the existing BOT contract for the redevelopment of the city's slaughterhouse and designating the members thereof as members. Chairperson, Councilor John Michael Seno. Members, Councilor Abaday, Salcedo, Dahino, Gaani. Move for its approval, Mr. Chairman.
Properly moved. Any second? Seconded. Objection?
I thought Councilor Salcedo
Objection.
is volunteering as chair.
Chairperson? Or chairperson?
I didn't know, Mr. Chairman. I was
You are
saving
already a
something.
member. Oh. Abin ako ba?
Di ay.
Ha?
Gab, gab.
Si Kinjasi?
Katong chairman o vice chairman sa GAB ba?
Abi kayo ha. Properly moved. Since there is no objection after all, resolution number 2020-247 is hereby approved.
Move to dispense second final reading.
For its finality. Seconded.
Number 13, Mr. Chairman's proposed resolution number 2020-248 condemning in the strongest possible terms the act of child trafficking and sexual abuse committed in Cagayan de Oro City by two foreign nationals as reported by the Sexual Offenders Caso and urging law enforcement agencies in the city to exhaust all measures to bring them to bar of justice. Proponent, Councilor Edgar Cabanlas. Move for its approval, Mr. Chairman.
Move. Seconded. Objection. Okay, Enrico Salcedo. Councilor Enrico Salcedo.
Kung mo Mr. Chairman, di lang ko may mutang bang anong condemning or persona non grata. Kay according to Councilor Abaday, makadeclare ng persona non grata kung official ra or diplomatic o unsa. Kaya pwede ba college kapin raman ta si chairman. Mo nang kailan ta ma-explain og maayo nganong mintag condemning o persona non grata kay kabalo kay lako ani ni Daddy Louie, Mr. Chairman. biktima sa ko, Mr. Chairman. Ito.
Well, remember, you are in session, ha?
Anyway,
Your
Mr. Chairman.
announcement recorded.
Anyway, Mr. Chairman, ako manggod, dagang kayo mga bata nga nabiktima gid ani, especially sa mga
Are you one of them? We will,
okay,
we will make it official. Are you one of them?
Kung tanaw nimong senior high ko, Mr. Chairman, basi isa ko. Kung tanaw.
You are not qualified anymore.
Bitaw, Mr. Chairman, luoy kayo, dagang kayo mga parents ani. Before ni siya nadakpan, dagang gid kay parents ani. Eh, kung ako lang, Mr. Chairman, ngalan ako dadi luoy, di ko madlok, Mr. Chairman. I-personal ng grata gyud. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Enrico Salcedo. Is it an objection? Okay, just a comment. So, since there is no objection after all, resolution number 2020-248 is approved. We already discussed it from the earlier part of our session.
Move to dispense second final reading.
For its finality, in a second, seconded.
Number 14 is proposed by Councilor Romeo Calizo. Proposed resolution number 2020-249 expressing the City Council's unequivocal support for the inclusion and approval of the 1 billion budget of the National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict, NTF-LELCAC, in the General Appropriations Bill for fiscal year 2021 to support projects in 822 conflict-affected barangays in the country. Move for its approval, Mr. Chairman.
Properly moved by the majority floor. Seconded. Objection? Objection? There is none. Okay, Councilor Romeo Calizo.
I'd just like to confirm the figure, Mr. Chairman. Is it 1 billion or is it
I think 1 billion for
because I've stated
19 billion.
Kasi magkautang ta, Mr. Chairman. 19 billion.
As amended, Mr. Chairman.
Well, 19 billion is for the whole Philippines. It was divided for a different infested NPA, I think. Okay, Councilor Romeo Calizo, you have any? Okay, already.
Query, Mr. Chairman.
Properly moved and second.
Query, Mr. Chairman. Query from the author.
Councilor Saldi Ocon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Councilor Calizo, sir. May hapon. May I know, Mr. Chairman, if the good author, Councilor Calizo, has the figure 19 billion, how much more? How much for Region 10?
Okay.
If she has a figure, Mr. Chairman, much better.
Can I beg your pardon, please? The question, how much is what?
For Region 10.
The allocation for Region.
How much budget allocated for allocation for Region 10?
Don't worry, Councilor Ocon. I will research on that. But meantime, as referred to the letter, 19 billion for the 822 for the whole Philippines. 11 of which belongs to Cagayan de Oro City.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Thank you, Councilor Saldi. But I think this is the time when we the General Appropriation Act is already approved. So this will be just for supporting documents or supporting.
Mr. Chairman, another query, if I may.
Okay,
another query, Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Councilor Saldi Ocon, do you have another query?
Yes, I would like to address this query to the chairman on police and public safety, Councilor Calizo. Councilor Calizo, sir, mayong hapon. I gathered information, sir, yesterday, how true, that at least 3 a Black Hawk helicopter from United States will be assigned here in Cagayan de Oro.
Okay. Okay, we have to stick with our. Okay,
Anyway,
Councilor.
Mr. Chairman, although this probably out of
Okay, thank you.
topic, but not only three Black Hawk helicopter, the whole of the 15th Strike Wing.
Uy!
assigned to-
Wow!
So that will
Thank
be
you.
development as to the defense, not only of Cagayan de Oro City, not only of Region 10, but probably the whole of Mindanao, Chairman.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Romeo Calizo. Okay, any other query, Councilor Saldi Ogon?
No more. Thank you.
Okay.
I have one query to Councilor Ocon.
Okay.
Sir,
Nagkanta na ba ka pare sa pag-greet kang Councilor Bunglao nga birthday niya gahapon?
Okay.
Later.
there's lagi pare, happy birthday pare.
Councilor
Councilor Bong, happy birthday.
Bunglao is
Pare
still
Bong,
there?
Happy birthday. O ako pong i-greet ang patron sa birthday. Tanang birthday mga official na ay gi-greet ana si Councilor Maria Lourdes Gaani, mo na patron sa mga birthday.
Wala man ko nakadawat.
Thank you.
Ako, pre.
Okay, Councilor Bunglao.
Pare,
Thank you.
birthday.
Guys, thank you to my colleague.
Thank you, Councilor Saldi Ocon. Councilor Tudolfo Bunglao is still there?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Good
Okay.
afternoon.
Good afternoon. Okay. Happy birthday to
Pare, happy
Thank you,
birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you, pare. Thank you.
Happy birthday, happy birthday,
Happy birthday to you.
How young are you?
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Councilor Tudolfo Bunglao, coming from the 19
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
council members. But before your birthday, still the birthday of Councilor Joylene Mercedes.
Anak na daw, anak.
Nagkaka-remember, Councilor Saldi Ocon. Nag-remember na si Councilor Joylene Mercedes Palawa. Still the birthday month of her. December 1 naman din, no? So, Councilor Joylene Mercedes Balaba, and then afterwards, Councilor Chodolfo Bunglao.
Yes.
Pasko na tayo.
Pasko na. Anyway, there is still pending motion. Properly moved and seconded. Objection. Hearing none. Resolution number 2020-249. Well, I will just to remind to everybody afterwards, we will have a caucus meeting in the Vice Mayor's office afterwards.
Birthday celebration of Councilor Gurley.
Councilor Gurley.
After this session.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, I cannot attend.
No objection, Mr. Chairman.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Gutom na, oh.
It is already approved.
Move to dispense second final reading.
Dispense for its finality.
Move to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Session adjourned.